This time on Amazingly Terrible, we're watching Bobby's World, episode 62, Bobby the Genius.
What is H2O? So, I'm sorry. We were doing the countdown and I suddenly remembered I had to do this part of the episode.
Okay. So you're listening to Amazingly Terrible, the podcast that asks, what if Family Guy was made for kids?
Oh,
My name's Adam.
My name's Matt.
My name's Mike.
My name's David.
I mean, isn't this basically like the precursor for Family Guy?
I heard a lot of Duckman jokes in there.
Did Howie Mandel do Duckman?
Oh, he did them.
No. Well, Howie Mandel did everything in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, Duckman, I think, was Jason Alexander, right?
Yeah, as the title role.
Well, yeah, I imagine that if Howie Mandel was in it, he'd probably play a more substantial role. Yeah. I'm not seeing him in the cast for Duckman. Mm-hmm. But interesting.
That was probably his breakout role, right?
Duckman did play from 1994 to 1997. And Bobby's World was 1990 to 1998, so there was some overlap.
So you're gonna steal my history and intro.
No, just that bit.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Jason Alexander was in this show?
We don't need Jason Alexander. We have Howie Mandel.
Oh, right. The poor man's Jason Alexander.
It doesn't matter because we have Howie Mandel for 30 minutes, and
That's right.
and
Yeah.
We have
Howie
a lot of
Man-
Howie Mandel. For
We
the
got
audience.
a hot Maui on the Bobby.
We
got a
have
Howie.
various Howies. So
We have
There-
every form of Howie.
we do.
We have
What
Howie.
are the four phases of Howie?
Yeah. First in the primordial ooze, Howie was a gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he condensed, and all of this Howie gaseousness condensed down into his second phase, which is the squeakamus phase.
And
Nice.
he was the SAT at that point. He just took the form of a standardized test.
I gotta warm up with that voice. Somebody give me a piece of cake.
There you go.
So, backstory on Bobby's World. The voice of Bobby is actually Howie Mandel. And he...
Wow.
Wait, this comedian created a vehicle for himself to star in?
And apparently
That's
it's because
insane.
he wanted to do stand-up, but the studio producers felt that stand-up wasn't appropriate for children. So he literally created a cartoon as a vehicle for him to do stand-up to children.
So he wanted to do stand up for kids, or did he go in and say I want to do stand up on TV, and they were like, no, you're making a kids show. Deal with it.
You must make a children's show.
Well, Mandel explained that he believed Fox did not think that his stand-up routines were family entertainment.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
interesting. So that he said I wanted to make a family show, and they said no, you can't make a family show. You're too adult. And he said, screw you. I'm going to make this cartoon.
Yes, and
Okay.
true to the 90s, he added a moral at the end, a lesson learned,
Yeah.
and it gets to make up for all of the horrible things that happened during the show.
Okay.
I mean, we definitely needed one this episode because every single character behaves reprehensibly.
It is a caricature of everything wrong with what we remember about the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show really felt like someone read the notes on how to structure a comedy show, but didn't really understand comedy.
I can see that.
You got a bunch of
Yeah.
eggheads formulating the perfect show on script.
So I have a quick question regarding that, though. Howie Mandel created this show, right?
Based on his childhood memories,
Okay.
allegedly.
Okay, and was he like the head writer for the show, or did he kick it off to a writer's room and then just came in and punched up some notes when it came time for filming?
He gave it to writers.
Okay.
Especially because this went on for seasons. Like, writing a
Yeah.
show is freaking hard.
Yeah, and this was 7 years, but it also seemed like they had a truncated
Yeah, where was this in the run?
This was season 6.
Yeah, this is Riders. He's out of memories by then.
I don't remember there being 7 seasons. Like, all of it is condensed down into like one season in my memory. But I remember like loving this show and watching this show all the time.
I remember watching this all the time as well. Whenever it came on, I did definitely take the time to go watch it. And I knew Howie Mandel at this point in time from A Fine Mess, which I think was the first movie that I saw him in, and Little Monsters. So I liked Howie Mandel in general. Mm-hmm. So,
and you probably saw him on the Muppets. That's where I swear I first saw him, was on Muppets, or
was it the Muppet Show, or was it was it a Muppet movie?
He wasn't in any Muppet movie, was he?
I don't know.
Howie
That's
Mandel?
He was. So he was.
I feel like his career doesn't overlap with the Muppets very much.
Muppet Babies, 1984 to 1985.
Oh, okay.
He is credited with Skeeter, Animal, and Bunsen. So
He does the voices.
he does the
Nice.
voices.
I did not know that.
So we wouldn't
Interesting.
have seen him.
No, I wouldn't have seen him in that.
And yet, he grew in our hearts into the full Mandel.
Nice.
Do you
I
think
Interesting.
remember, but
Do you think that, like the Mandela effect, there's a Mandela effect?
No.
no.
Well, I thought it was the Mandela effect.
That's right. Howie Mandel went into prison in South Africa. because of
I heard he
apartheid,
died in prison.
And he died in prison. Or he got out and became the president of South Africa. Yeah.
I heard he got trapped inside one of those rubber gloves he was blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
Died in there.
That's right. Was he the one who used to inflate the rubber gloves and put it on his head?
Yeah.
Or is
That's
that a
how he
different thing?
inflated them.
Yeah. And then he also the thing that always stuck out to me, because I don't really remember what the movie was about. I think it was about like something with like racehorses or something. But the movie A Fine Mess, he's running away from gunmen, and the way he gets away from them is he goes into the bathroom, gets a handful of hand soap, shoves it in his mouth so he's foaming at the mouth, and he just starts talking about how he got bit by a dog recently, and they run away from him. and I thought that was the funniest thing when I was 8 years old. So,
Oh my God.
It was like the Jim Carrey before Jim Carrey came along.
that's a good
That
comparison.
is
actually,
very generous to Howie Mandel.
Come on. We all loved Howie Mandel and Jim Carrey as children.
As
Children.
I think I still like Howie Mandel as an adult. I feel like he has had his own trials and tribulations, but I don't think he's ever done anything shitty. He seems like he's actually a pretty good guy.
I don't know anything about his personal life, but yeah, I don't. He sounds like he's a fine person.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly worked enough that if he was an asshole, he probably would have stopped. He probably wouldn't have had a career.
Exactly. And the fact that he's still working today on multiple game shows and stuff like that shows that he's probably pretty good.
I mean, he had kind of a classic comedian trajectory. Like he really wanted all the comedian jobs. Like hosting a game show is very, very easy.
Yeah,
and you can do it a lot.
Yeah,
I was just talking about their humor, but they have evolved.
No, I loved him physically as a person.
In a purely sexual fashion.
Yeah, in a way with every orifice in my body, Mike.
Why do you think Howie Mandel has his like obsessive compulsive disorder when it comes to germs now? It's because of Matt. Mm-hmm. In Matt's lovemaking.
All right, so let's talk about Bobby's World. What is this
germ style?
Germ style.
This
with,
is my
with the grease man. He's got to be in every episode, Matt.
All right,
Mike,
shall we
Mike,
get
take us
into
home.
the episode? All right.
yeah.
Sure.
All right, so every Bobby's World episode starts off the same, with Howie Mandel talking about something completely unrelated to the current episode, but it just gets them to be, seen on camera.
And this is live action Howie Mandel.
Live action Howie Mandel doing stand-up.
I had a definite flashbacks to
Pro Stars or something.
no
Hammerman.
yes,
Hammerman also had
Hammerman,
it.
the MC
Hammerman.
Hammer one. Yes.
Yeah.
Hammerman. Oh my gosh, that's another classic.
Yeah.
That was a fine cartoon. I
Man,
enjoyed that quite a
this
bit.
doesn't get even close to that low. At least they are like trying to be entertaining instead of just being like, stay in school.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair.
Was it that? It was that bad.
What was really funny is in this opening they were talking about like how smelly
Socks.
Bobby's socks were, and I have a very distinct my like one very distinct memory of Bobby's World was that there was an episode where Bobby was like in a race, or he was like racing on his trike or something like that, and he made the joke about how all he could taste was or the taste of defeat tasted like shoes, because that's what defeat go into. And I was like, this would have been a perfect opening for that episode. But instead, we get a different episode here.
Instead, we learned that the writers were very lazy and have used that joke multiple times.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Was there an episode about Bobby's feet? Because aren't they like these like really weird looking feet?
They are abnormally large. His head is abnormally large.
His head is abnormally large and oblong shaped, like Stewie's.
Yeah, it's like Stewie's. Okay, so
There's a lot of comparisons here with Family Guy. The fact that you have like one actor that's doing every voice for the characters,
And he's the creator.
and he's the creator, and you have like the family of like 3 kids and the parents. Although this one does have an uncle in there as well, and the fact that like nobody likes the sister.
Yeah, I can see that. The only thing that's missing is tons and tons of disgusting sex jokes.
Yes. Well, that's the reason why I'm saying this was for kids.
this is why it's family friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, this episode only had one.
Yeah, and instead of having to cut away from reality to TV shows like they do in Family Guy, it's a cutaway from reality to Bobby's imagination.
They also have song and dance numbers in Bobby's World, just like they do in Family Guy.
Guy.
There's a lot of parallels I'm seeing here.
Wow.
Actually,
See, all we're saying is Seth MacFarlane ripped off Howie Mandel. That's all we're saying.
Well, he'd be the right age. He is, I guess, like four or 5 years ahead of us.
Yeah, about 5 years
Yeah.
older than us. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if a bit works, reuse it. That's
Steal
classic.
it.
That's
Steal
classic
it.
comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bit works for you. A bit will work for me too.
Yes. Steal from your influences.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean this ironically. So it would be interesting that if Seth MacFarlane credited Howie Mandel as an influence, then that would close the loop, right?
See, the only thing that you really need to do to prove this, Mike, is you have to watch every single episode of Family Guy and see if Howie Mandel ever shows up as a guest appearance. And if he doesn't, then it's obvious that Seth MacFarlane stole the show from him.
Yeah.
No, he does.
Yes,
He does.
clearly.
He inflates the glove and starts to hyperventilate and falls down and hits his head on a coffee table on the way down.
That's right.
That's
he
right. It
does.
starts bleeding, right? Yeah.
He does show up in Family Guy.
Jesus. New
David,
low
I
for us.
love your memory, man.
New low.
Not only did you save him another week of searching for a microphone that doesn't exist, but you reminded him of an episode of Family Guy.
Yeah.
That's getting better and better.
You should just hire David to remember everything for you.
Yeah.
I should just hire David.
Yeah. And David could be your new au pair. Yeah.
Wait. I mean, she taking care of Mike, or
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. I mean, technically, you'll be contracted by Mike's wife in order to watch Mike, but, you know.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the episode. Let's do it.
Let's start with the opening credits, because that is forever burned into my memory. When those opening credits started rolling, it just momentarily transported me back to like sitting by the gigantic CRT television and watching the show. And it's just, if you've seen the show, you'll just immediately remember those opening credits.
It's quite catchy.
Yeah, very catchy. The show opens with Bobby in school, and teachers making a big announcement. A university professor, Mr. not Doctor, Mr. So-and-so, is going to be coming in and to give a test to everyone. Which Bobby then goes into one of his Secret Life of Walter Mitty moments where
he disassociates.
He disassociates.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? What person out there that's bored with life doesn't disassociate every day?
Just go fucking blank for a solid 15 minutes.
And Mike, I think that was a very good catch that it was Mr. and not Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that this is somebody working on their doctorate's thesis, because the tests that he brought in to use on this kid definitely seemed more like a research project than it did anything else. So,
well,
I think you're right.
Not to be ageist, but if he's working on his doctorate, he better hurry up. He's getting on in the years.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking
He
about?
looks exactly like me.
I don't know. I will never have the capacity to earn a doctorate, so I have to put them in a different respect category that kind of is like
They'll give them to
throwing a
anybody.
baseball to a moon.
Dude, it's just about spending the money.
Yeah, spending the money in like networking.
Well, don't you have to do like some really big like research, like paper? Like, is it? Do they grade?
You typically have to do a research project, and you have to defend the research project. But that's where the networking comes in. You just have to make sure that your defense board is,
Yeah, the people who review your projects are your advisors.
yeah, they're your peers almost at that point.
Guys, don't ruin it. I thought you're destroying a
I mean, there's still a level of intelligence that's associated with it, but it's not.
It's more that if you're not going to be able to get your doctorate, you will know well before.
That's it. Yeah,
They will make it clear to you well before probably your second year.
Okay, so they're culled early and often.
And it's more about
they're not.
the
It's
amount
not
of
really.
like determination that you have in it as well. It has a lot more to do with like your organization and determination to do the work and force it through than it is necessarily just like high IQ. Because there's plenty of people that are like super intelligent that don't even have a like college degree. So
Yeah. Well,
like you, Mike.
what about me? what you talking about? You talking shit about me?
You're super intelligent,
Yes.
but you don't have a college degree.
Yeah, I
I
just
mean, you
don't
have
apply
one from
myself.
Virginia
you know?
Tech, but
Yeah, like everyone always says, I just don't apply myself. I could have a master's degree, but anyways, that was a good catch that Mr. Professor might be working on his doctorate, which will come into play later on in the episode.
as somebody with a master's degree, Mike, yes, you absolutely could have a master's degree. You
Yeah,
probably don't even have to apply yourself.
I know.
So
You're plenty. Yeah,
you just have to pay the money, really.
Yeah,
basically.
and have a reason to have a master's degree. So, like, right now, I don't know.
You don't really
I
even
don't
need a
no,
reason.
no, you don't need a reason.
Well, you don't need to. I need a reason. I would need a reason to have a master's degree.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is, especially today. Yeah.
All right, let's go into this.
That night he goes home and he talks to his siblings.
And we just get a little tour of the family.
Uncle Ted sounds a lot like John Candy.
He does. Is he played by Howie Mandel, or is he?
No,
like
he's played by somebody different. But Uncle Ted,
Okay.
I was convinced for the longest time was like John Candy acting.
No, I definitely thought it was a John Candy impression.
I kind of think so. I think he's supposed to be like sort of a hack comic.
The mom is making an inedible dinner.
Yeah, it's the cod. Wait, let me see.
Catfish.
Tuna cod catfish bake
With squid chips.
with squid chips, and she's freaking out.
Yeah.
I like that Howie Mandel resisted the temptation that every other cartoon creator came up with, is making the mom super hot.
And the Midwest
I don't know.
accent.
She's a redhead.
That voice, though, like I was convinced, like that, like the Midwestern accent, like
that does it for you.
no,
The opposite.
I was,
Yeah.
I could have, like, I was convinced that everyone in the Midwest talked like that. Which
Yeah.
I mean, there are a fair number that do, but like,
Yeah. But it's definitely like a very South Dakota accent. It's like a
Fargo.
It's
It's
a
like
Fargo accent.
Yeah.
I hear people say that it's literally just like it's localized to Fargo.
To
but
Fargo, yeah. Well, what's
yeah.
interesting is you do have like a weird voiced redhead mom, just like from Family Guy.
Family Guy with Lois. You know, it's starting to be uncanny.
Yeah, and obviously Uncle Ted is Brian from Family Guy. So
Who is?
Yeah, maybe.
Uncle
He
Ted,
does seem like
Uncle,
he's. I think Uncle Ted would be a womanizer if he could.
yeah,
Well, he constantly tries to pick up women, and it goes wrong. That's like the whole running gag with Uncle Ted is
it?
he's looking for love, and it always seems to go awry.
see, it's Brian from Family Guy. This show is just Family Guy for kids. This really is just
Well,
Family Guy for kids.
Infant
Family
Guy.
Guy is Bobby's World.
For
That's
adults.
for grown-ups.
Yeah.
Let's turn it.
Yeah,
Let's
that's right.
Good
flip
point,
the
good point.
script.
That's
because,
right.
Yeah.
You are right.
Oreos is Hydrox, not the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah.
We got to give
Exactly.
credit to Howie
Man.
Mandel.
I would kill some
He's-
Hydrox right now.
That's probably how he pitched it in the room too. You guys remember that show Bobby's World? I want to do that, but for adults.
And they were all like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And Fox was on.
You were like, and we were like, why would we want to do that?
And Fox was just like, "Oh wait, do we own Bobby's World? Yeah, okay, yeah, redo it. Go for it.
Here's some
yeah.
money. Take our money. At this point, the brother comes in and freaks out Bobby and causes Bobby to fall into one of his trapped in his brain moments where his brother says that they have to stay at, like, if you fail the test, you stay at school forever.
Yeah, you stay at school forever, and then it swaps to in his Bobby's imagination, it goes to the Attica moment at Attica prison where it's Attica, Attica, but it changes to stay at school, stay at school.
Is that what it's from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was much clearer in Duckman when they did sciatica.
Hey, do we have Duckman on the list? Could we watch Duckman?
It's on the list.
Is it on the list? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very weird reference for this cartoon to make because it's clearly not for kids.
It's not, but what's interesting is during this time frame, and I don't know if it was corresponding to when the movie came out, but there were a lot of Attica references in kids' material, because I remember the references very clearly, and it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually looked up what the fuck it was from, and I was like, that's what it's from? That doesn't make any sense to me. And it was just, because it was just Attica prison.
Was
So.
this on during prime time? Do you guys remember if this was like...
And
no,
I think
wasn't.
this was Saturday mornings or afternoon. It was afternoon, I think. Once they
Do you
got
think
enough
that would be
seasons.
like
I don't
added
know.
in for parents that might be watching? Like, why would they
No.
put in like an adult reference into a kid show unless they're expecting some parents to be watching?
Because I think the writers are lazy. I think that's why.
Yeah, it's how pop culture works.
Yeah.
You get all the references and stuff as a kid and have no idea where it came from.
Oh, so the writers are just lazy. They're adults. They put it into the show, and
Yeah, I mean they put it in for themselves, because they thought it would be funny,
Yeah.
or it's just like a sort of ha-ha joke.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the other thing with this show is you don't have to write very much. There's no plot here. There's the plot is one sentence, and they're just like, okay, pad it out with what does the family do, and here's a bunch of references.
Yeah. And then also, we have to have 4 imagination sequences from Bobby. Go.
yeah, one
Right.
song and dance number, and a moral and a lesson learned. Check. All right. Send out the checks.
We could sum up this entire episode in about a sentence, which is Bobby's declared a genius, and he becomes really shitty about it.
Yeah,
Adam,
and then his tragic comeuppance.
you've just hamstrung my entire podcast.
Sorry, Mike.
That's the Derek summary.
That's the Derek summary.
The
Exactly.
Derek summary.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, we hate efficiency.
Let's give a moment of silence for Derek tonight.
For our friend Derek, who's trapped by his
Yeah.
in-laws.
Yeah, he couldn't make it tonight.
He had a boo-boo on his pee-pee.
We miss you. All right, so this whole scene with the mom flipping out is It just reminds me of 90s, like these 90s sitcom cartoons where the dad comes home and makes a joke and the mom freaks out and then Bobby can't get a word in edgewise.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's the 90s were full of these tragic, misunderstood children that never, got their parents' attention. Like, poor Kevin.
Latchkey kids.
Poor Kevin McAllister got left, all alone.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby's always tragically misunderstood. Those are the only two references I have.
They were all raised by the greatest generation, who are all like disassociated.
Ah, yes. Let me sit here and smoke my cigarette and read the newspaper and.
Well, they all had shell shock,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the next day at school, the professor asks a series of simple questions to the class. But since Bobby is such a smartass because of his siblings, the professor finds all of his responses to be really interesting.
Now, was he a smartass because of his siblings, or is it that Bobby's autistic?
Oh, well, let's discuss. What do you guys think?
I mean, most of his fantasies are about a very literal interpretation. He clearly doesn't like get context or turns of phrase. Like, he doesn't understand common language usage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's clearly on the spectrum somewhere. Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about this show was that it pointed out taking things literal, and it kind of taught you sarcasm and irony and stuff. Because I grew up in a house, my parents never used sarcasm. They never used irony. I remember the first time I used sarcasm in my 20s. I said, "Oh yeah, that's a really good idea," and my mom's like, "No, it isn't." And I'm like, So Bobby's world was like this creative escape for me. So maybe if he's autistic, then maybe I'm a little autistic too.
Yeah, maybe we all are.
It might be different than that, Mike, because I've heard that a lot of Asian cultures don't really use sarcasm.
Yeah, I think that's really just what it is both your parents came from cultures where sarcasm wasn't as prevalent.
Yeah,
so.
I guess. I mean, it could definitely be cultural. I feel like cultural aspects played a lot greater role in my childhood.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like in my household, sarcasm was too deep. Like everything was sarcasm.
Yeah.
So it became that much more difficult to communicate to anybody. So.
Yeah. So did you
so
feel
I tried
like
to be
Bobby
a little more
was
authentic as I got older.
Did you like personally identify with Bobby?
A little bit. I did kind of see that a little bit more, but I did also. When I was a kid, those jokes landed for me, though, where it was like, oh, he's taking a literal interpretation of something that means something different. Yeah. So I thought it was really funny.
This show's literally me. Like, you know how some people talk about Goku being them? Bobby was me. And so, like, this show reminded me a lot of... This show had a outsized impact on me growing up.
Mike was invented by Howie Mandel.
Mike is Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm Howie Mandel's hair at 4 minutes and 50 seconds into the show.
You just regrew a body.
That is me.
Nice.
4 minutes and 50 seconds. I just lie on the top of his head like that.
Like a giant comma.
I don't know what that is. Like, that's the quality of animation that we grew up on.
Okay, so I have
this
to say,
thing that looks like a whale with blue bumps on it.
I was actually not gonna mention this, but I specifically remember the way Bobby's dad's hair was drawn and hating it.
Really?
It's one of my like artistic beafs.
Just
nice.
I hate that.
Nice.
Look
That's
at it.
amazing.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I'm not very artistic, and I looked at that and wanted to barf.
Oh, yeah. It kind of looks like a weird, bumpy sperm, basically. Sort of draped across his head.
I can't put... It's like an ink blot. Every time I look at it, it looks something different to me, except for hair.
Like an amoeba.
It looks like Moby the Dick sometimes to me. And other times...
I mean... It's also such an ego thing because Howie clearly went to the animators and he's like, make it have my hair.
And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
Fuck
and
you.
that perm was like a conscious decision. So he's like, yes, make my hair look like my hair in a cartoon. And they're like, oh, here.
Do you think that he got a lot of negative feedback about that, and that's why he's bald now?
The hair follicles literally receded out of shame into his hair.
He just started shaving his head. He was like, fuck you guys. Now I'm shaving my head.
I don't think he shaved his head out of spite for people not liking his perm in the 90s.
Yeah, he shaved his head out of germophobia, so...
No, I think he probably shaved it because his hair was watching old footage of him, and it was so cringe that it just ran away.
No, guys, seriously, no. He left one of those gloves on his head too long, and his hair follicles got starved of oxygen, and they died, and all of his hair fell out. That's it. That's the origin of the story.
I actually did hear a while ago that he had to stop doing the mask or the glove joke because he had caused like a pop in his sinuses or something that they told him
burst the capillary or something.
Yeah, it will basically eventually give you a stroke if you keep doing this.
Oh, that's horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on then.
I do want to hit on something. I do need to hit on something else that's in this scene, though. Particularly, you have the test scene, and the university professor keeps asking questions, and Bobby does like literal interpretations. The first fucking question that the doctor or that the professor asks Bobby is, how many fingers do you have on your hand? And Bobby says the same number as you, and they do not. Bobby is drawn with 4 fingers. Everybody else is drawn with 5 fingers. And I don't know why the animators said, oh, we're just going to give this kid 4 fingers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like Gravity Falls, where it's like a big thing because one of the characters has 6 fingers.
Yeah.
But a lot of the characters have 4.
Yeah. I just don't get it, honestly. Like, I don't know why they made that joke, because as soon as they did, I could not stop looking at everybody's fucking hand in this animation. And the only person that was animated with 4 fingers was Bobby. Everybody else had 5.
Plus, it was pretty ableist of Bobby, right? Like, Mr.
That's
Doctor
true.
could have just raised his hand and he could have had missing fingers, and then Bobby would have felt like a real asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
Bobby doesn't have that kind of
suck it.
self-awareness.
Hold on. Now that I'm watching it now, all the kids have 4 fingers, and all the adults have 5. What?
In that universe, they grow an extra finger in adulthood.
Yeah. In the
it's called
90s,
puberty.
you grew a finger.
Yeah, that's when you grow a new finger. Little Bobby, sometimes your body undergoes changes.
Wait, are you saying you were born with 5, you fucking freak?
Yes. 5 fingers and 2 penises.
They call me 5 Fingers Bobby.
They call me Busy Hands. Okay, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
All right, okay.
I had to yell at Adam.
All right, so the kids take the test. It's a series of mundane exercises like pegs and holes and stacking things. And when the test results come back, the professor declares Bobby is a genius. And Bobby has to take a note home to his parents and gets to sit at the front of the class, which he doesn't like.
This is the beginning of the behavior. And at this point, everyone's behavior is essentially terrible. Like, if you really have a gifted kid, they do everything wrong, including, like, singling him out in front of his classmates, telling him he's a genius, etc.
And then treating him differently.
Yes.
So
I do like, though, that we do get a shot with Bobby, his older brother, and his much older sister. And this is when I realized that there seemed to be a huge age gap between the brother and Bobby.
Yeah.
So
Bobby's
I'm
clearly
pretty sure...
he's clearly like he's a save my marriage baby.
No, I was actually thinking he was the 19-year-old daughter's baby that then got adopted by the mom.
no.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
No, guys, no. She's actually 15 years old. That's not appropriate.
Yeah, gross, Adam.
Because Bobby's clearly 4.
So where were we? Okay, so he's a genius. He comes home. His brother and sister badger him about what's in the envelope, and we have another Walter Mitty moment wondering what's inside the envelope. And then the next day, the parents and Bobby go to school. And what I found was kind of funny is when they ask Bobby to, or I can't remember, does he like just jump in ahead of time and say, hey, I want to tell you all the things I did, and he starts spilling the beans, which are like...
Yeah, about all his crimes.
It's about all of his crimes, which is like 8-year-old crimes, so it's totally laughable. It's like these little silly things. But, you know, when you think in the mind of like an 8-year-old, there's a really big thing, so he thought he was like in a lot of trouble, so... Anyways, they tell him he's gifted, which he literally, he takes literally and imagines himself as a present. And then they call him special, and he imagines himself as like a special on sale at a store.
His family can't even go a single sentence before he starts hallucinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like really is mid-sentence in between two disparate thoughts that he actually starts hallucinating again.
It's literally as often as the cutaways in Family Guy are.
Yeah. I do have a... I did feel like this was a little bit... I felt a little bit seen in this as well, like just like us as kids, like some of the shit that we went through. Because like how many kids that we knew got into like the gifted and talented classes in like high school, and like how shitty they were about the fact that they were better than everybody else. You guys remember that?
I just remember being better than everyone else.
Nice. Actually, yeah, David, weren't you in like the gifted class when we were in 6th grade?
Yeah, I got in 6th grade, not in 4th grade. I basically cheated on the test, so...
Sweet! Yes!
Oh,
awesome.
Confessions.
Yeah, it is.
Years later, statutes of limitations.
I love it. How'd you cheat? Did you actually like have like a crib sheet, or was it just sort of like you slipped some money into the proctor?
Well, well, there were these like block things where they're like different colors on different sides, and I would like set them up between the tests so I could like flip them like more like knew what color was on which side easier to do it faster.
Oh, nice. So you just sort of like preset your surroundings in order to make it quicker. Nice.
How's that cheating?
It was a time test. I mean, your whole score is based on time. I think the instructions like explicitly say that the test taker is supposed to shuffle the blocks in between the tests.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that does count as cheating.
What I remember about the GT program was that if you could afford to pay to have your kid privately tested, they would take the recommendation of the private tester. So basically, it was
you just paid to get in.
It was like a racial segregation thing.
Yeah,
basically.
No, that's actually exactly what I remember too. It's just like it was all the rich kids that were like, "Oh, we're better than everybody else because we're smarter," and it's like, really?
I just remember they get to hatch chicks, and they had baby chickens, and we just had to do math.
I know. They got a full meal, and we just got an education.
These Oxbridge yobbos are extraordinarily strong, having spent their entire lives with literally enough to eat.
They're over there eating their chicks.
Yeah.
While we're playing around with peeps.
Crunchy baby chicks.
They get to raise chickens from chicks to eat.
They're crunchy because of the bones.
They were like, all ours are made out of marshmallow.
It's so crunchy. It's so crunchy, teacher. Well, you didn't butcher it very well, did you? I thought you were gifted.
You're not so gifted now. All right.
Yeah.
Nice. I just wanted to point this out. After the segment, they go back home, and when they're home, they're showing the kids eating while like the mom's putting away dishes, and this is another reason why I think like there might be something developmentally concerning about Bobby, because he's just shoveling food towards his face hole with his hand and just sort of like mushing it on his face. Whereas like his brother is clearly using silverware, and his sister is just sort of like looking on in horror.
Wait, why is he eating like that?
Because there's something wrong with him.
No, wait.
He has to shove cake into his mouth so he can talk that way.
It's cake. So, did I get a chance to tell the whole origin story of like why his like Howie Mandel is the voice of Bobby?
No,
Is it too late? Is it too late to? Okay, so Howie
It's
Mandel.
the perfect time.
It is never too late for now, Mike.
Yeah, Howie Mandel always arrives precisely when he means to.
Well, anyways, he accidentally created the voice. He was eating a piece of cake, and he started choking on it. And when he went to speak, with the cake still partially in his throat, the voice of Bobby came out, and the people around him thought it was hilarious, and that was the birth of the idea of Bobby's World.
Wow.
So,
But
yeah, so
it's
actually
probably
that's...
left out the rail of cocaine that he did.
Well, it was the 90s. They all were doing that.
The rail of cocaine and the gerbil dipped in cocaine. And
Guys,
Blue Mountain Bean rolled in cocaine.
Just regular vanilla cocaine is okay. We don't have to just go chasing the dragon here. Just vanilla cocaine. Just a hit of cocaine, and
Vanilla
then you go make
cocaine.
and then you go make an episode or 10.
I would have vanilla cocaine. That sounds delicious.
I prefer Neapolitan cocaine.
But
no.
then you only
Who
eat
wants
the chocolate
strawberry? Nobody wants strawberry.
Okay, so the next day, the class is having a question and answer session. His classmates answer, these very clearly easy elementary questions. And Bobby starts being really snarky and saying, I already knew that answer and when I was 2. And this is when we get the classmates beginning to turn on Bobby and start doing the raspberry, which becomes a reoccurring theme throughout this episode. Everyone blowing raspberries at him. So he's getting
Unless
on his
they're
class
close enough to shove him.
in the instances of the shoving.
This I remember. I remember this from grade school.
The shoving and the raspberries.
The shoving
and the
spitting
snarky
on
classmates. Yeah. The beatings. And it's during this class that Bobby's told that he's chosen, along with 2 other classmates from the school, to be on TV, to be on a contest. And this is where we have this episode's song and dance number of going to be on TV.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to talk about the song and dance number, you can. There's not much for me to say about it.
No.
Okay.
He just keeps picturing himself on different shows. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like this was like a fairly genuine reaction for the idea of a little kid might have about being on TV, like just pure excitement.
Aww.
That like they were going to heaven. So that felt kind of genuine to me.
Well, as a child, I'm sure I probably enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just, I didn't have any funny thing to say. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
I mean, I remember when I was in that movie, and I was super excited about that. But I think it was more about missing school and getting paid 70 Deutschmarks. So,
wow,
it was a lot more fun.
It's all about the Deutschmarks.
All about the Deutschmarks. How many movies have you been in your lifetime, Adam?
Yeah, tell us about your Wikipedia page. Do you have an IMDb page?
3, I think.
Oh, you should have an IMDb page.
You totally need an IMDb page.
Yeah. I was in Third My Roommate 2, where you could actually see me.
Wow.
I was in.
Is that the one about the Japanese guy that goes back to Roman hot springs and then brings those ideas back to? They made a live action.
Yeah, they made 2 live actions. They had the first one won a bunch of awards. I think actually the Australian Sun Festival had actually won like a couple of awards because it was really well made. And then they made a second one, and I was in the second one. I played a gladiator, a slave, a farmer, a bunch of random roles.
Nice.
So
I just
and you could see me in like 3 or 4 of the scenes. So
I just watched that anime a few months ago. So like,
oh yeah.
So now I'm kind of like,
yeah.
I never connected that you were in that movie, because I think you've told me like what movies you were in before, but now I'm really interested since the anime was really good.
And then I was also in Shining Through when I was a little kid.
Shining Through
is I think it's not Meg Ryan, somebody else, and Michael Douglas movie that takes place in World War II Germany, where they're like spies, but they don't really, nobody like really knows they're spies because they actually came from a big business in the U.S. versus any type of spy agency.
6.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
I just played a little kid playing. I was a little kid at the time, and I was just playing on the in like a school playground when Michael Douglas and not Michelle Pfeiffer either. Who was the lady in it?
Melanie Griffith.
Melanie Griffith, yeah. Melanie Griffith and Michael Douglas, or Melanie Griffith walks past the schoolyard. So you cannot see me in that.
But we can feel your presence.
Yeah, you can definitely feel my presence.
Yeah.
I think that was it, though. I don't think I was in any other movies. Other commercials and stuff, but...
2012, that was only 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was when I was living in Germany, or Japan. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that tour through your
You're
CV.
welcome. You know what? Let's attach the audio for my commercials at the end of this podcast, too. So...
Heck, let's attach the full movies.
So people can't... So that people can, like, get a feel for what it was like, even though I have no speaking roles in anything ever.
Heck, let's attach Adam's resume, and maybe he can start in another movie.
Let's send this around to agents.
Let's you and me, Matt, hit the streets in
Spread
LA.
the good word.
Spread it. Let's go to every coffee shop and cafe to shove this resume at people and say, hire my client.
Yeah.
You know, I know you guys are being facetious, but I like this idea. Let's do it.
Let's spitball here.
Yeah. My people will call your people.
Yes, whole grain toast. It's not the same as whole wheat.
My David will call your David.
No, he's Mike's David.
Okay.
All right. So the next day, Bobby's at the TV studio. For some reason, the professor is the one that introduces Bobby to the other contestants, but it's immediately apparent how vastly more intelligent these kids are to Bobby.
Do you think this professor is like an Oliver Sacks, like he's pimping these kids out?
I was worried that like this was some kind of like punk, like he was like purposely setting Bobby up to fail because like the actual research was like trading places.
Where Eddie Murphy is like some street urchin, and there were two rich guys that bet that they could turn Eddie Murphy into like a successful shitty businessman.
Yeah,
and they could turn Dan Aykroyd, who's a successful shitty businessman, into a street urchin.
So I thought the whole like point of this like research was if you tell a child that he's a genius, he might actually become a genius.
Oh yeah.
I do like that the character that they have to play the host for this preschool feud is essentially Richard Dawson,
Yes.
the guy that started Family Feud, down to like the really like gross, like way too personable style of interacting with people. Because doesn't he like kiss all the kids?
Yes, he does. Let's rewind a little bit.
No.
When the kids show off how intelligent they are, Bobby literally gets lost trying to find the stage that everyone just walked out to. Like they make a point of him trying to open a curtain and there's a brick wall and literally everyone had just left and he then stumbles out into the stage, just further showing how bumbling he is.
Yeah, and it's actually reiterating how shitty he's being too, because the professor's like, oh, let me show you to the stage, and he's like, I'm the genius, I could figure it out on my own, thank you very much. So
yeah, it's totally full of himself. So, yeah, Battle of the Baby Brains is this Family Feud ripoff.
Preschool Feud, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Preschool Feud, yes.
And it is set up to look like a Family Feud stage, but the game is not Family Feud.
No, and it's evident that Bobby's way out of his league. Like his whole world comes crashing down very quickly as the other contestant gets questions right, and he has no idea what they're talking about. And then,
so rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, his comeuppance. It's
comeuppance.
We've been building the whole episode to this, and it's just so wonderful.
See, this is actually the time where I was on Bobby's side, though. Where, like, because as Bobby's answering all the questions, he's technically not answering the questions wrong.
Well, here's the thing. In Family Feud style, when the host starts talking, he said that these answers are based on a survey of 100 preschoolers.
Yeah, he does say that.
He says that. So I'm like, oh, Bobby's going to win, because what do these genius kids know about normal, average preschoolers? And these preschoolers aren't going to know the answers to this. But no, it turns out that was a false lead. And
yeah.
I like that. I like the idea that this is like a turning point for the series, and after this, he's just a total cock. Like, they change his character because he wins this game show, and he's just like,
that'd be awesome.
A genius.
That would be pretty awesome.
And that's an alternate
he keeps
timeline.
like failing up.
Yeah.
And he somehow makes it to be CEO because he just is confidently wrong all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I would think it would just start becoming a parody of Howie Mandel's career at that point.
Oh no.
Oh, we just lost
Suck
the
it, Mandel.
In your face.
I heard you died in prison, bitch.
Howie Mandel's like, unsubscribe.
Yeah, damn it, he was our one Canadian subscriber. That shit. Now we gotta get into that market some other way.
Michael J. Fox.
No, I was thinking we'd just start courting, who's the pretty boy that played Deadpool?
Ryan
Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah, aim a little lower there. Let's not get too ambitious there, Adam.
No, we just got to get accounts at Mint, or whatever.
Oh, yes. Go buy.
Just have to get accounts at Mints and pound some aviation gin.
Actually, guys, if we're gonna do this like whole celebrity cameo thing, we got to do it fast, because with all these cameo things getting attributed to, like, well, I didn't know that I was endorsing so and so by doing a cameo, they're gonna stop doing cameos after a while.
Oh no, but I want to get a Giuliani for my very own.
Yeah, and I was gonna start my own cameo account.
You still can.
But people are like, oh, we want that weird background actor from Third Man Rome 2.
Yeah.
You should get it. You should put it on there and make sure you upload your whole resume.
Did you get a copy of the movie? Because it's not on Netflix.
No, you have to. Okay, bear with me.
No.
Okay, how about you
make sure that you have like proper security on your computer.
No, okay, just DM me. Okay, DM me.
Go to Asian.com.
Oh, jeez.
You can find it on Asian.com.
That sounds like a safe URL.
So, Bobby loses the contest horribly and gets slimed multiple times and lets down all of his classmates who keep on giving him raspberries. But then the professor rushes in and says that it was a computer error. You know, computer's dumb. And it called him to be called a genius, but he's actually normal.
The 90s. You can just make up whatever your work is and then blame it on the computer if you get it wrong.
Wait, we still can't do that? But Bobby's actually happy that he's normal because he didn't like being a genius. I think he didn't like being a little shit. Maybe he's starting to learn his lesson. But we have to get to the bus scene for the moral of the story and the lesson to happen. That's when Bobby tells everyone that he's sorry and that he realized that, you know, being good and nice and having friends is a good, I don't know, something, la, 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 we all learn a lesson. Gentlemen,
I like Bobby's shirt.
What did we think about Bobby?
About Bobby personally or about the cartoon?
I think I could probably fit him in a duffel bag.
Probably.
Yes, I think that Bobby just needs a little bit of discipline at home, and I think that his parents need to pay attention to him first and foremost. I blame the parents. I'm a parent blamer because
a strong stance.
I take responsibility, and I listen to my children when they talk, even if my tuna cod catfish bake was burning in the oven, or Uncle Ted ate it all, I would still stop and say, Bobby, what you have to say is important. It's nonsense. It's gibberish. It's 8-year-old ramblings.
You should feel ashamed of what you said.
But I still listen to you, and I'm tucking it away in the memory part of my brain that when you're cute, I'm going to pull this back out and say, that was cute. But go on out. Yeah. But his parents don't pay attention to him. He's reaching out for attention, and he's in every episode he's making some kind of mistake because he's being ignored by his family.
See, I completely disagree. I think that Bobby's behaving exactly the way kids behave when you tell them they're special, treat them differently, make a big deal about their actions, and then give them tons of unearned opportunities. Like that.
Yeah.
It's everyone else's behavior's fault, basically. I blame, the parents and the teachers are pretty bad.
Yeah, the school is especially pretty rough. So.
Yeah.
And honestly, all they need to do is just punch him a couple times, and then he would have been fine.
Yeah, sure. It did so much for me.
And me. That's why I'm a successful CEO of GE. I don't know.
I own my own crying company.
Daddy!
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the family's name. Generic or generic? Yeah.
Generic.
I think you found the joke.
Yeah. But everyone calls it, mispronounces it generic.
Yes.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Adam, what's your theory? Well, I guess your theory is that he's autistic.
Yeah, my theory is that he's autistic, and if you actually watch some of the the actual tests that they're doing in the testing section, they're doing tests that I think that modern tests use for kids to determine if they are autistic. It's like shape and color composition and things along those lines, and it seems like everybody in the class is on the spectrum.
Adam, this brings me to my next question.
Yes.
How many 8-year-olds are you actually around?
Yeah, how many 8-year-olds are you dating?
Like, when was the last time you saw an 8-year-old?
This is my new favorite question.
Last time I saw an 8-year-old, I think it was last February when I was at your place and I met your kids for the first time.
Let me tell you about the actions and the brain of an 8-year-old.
Oh, I wish it wouldn't. I want to sleep tonight. I don't think this is going to be... conducive to my peace of mind.
If you think Bobby's on the spectrum, then every 8-year-old child is on the spectrum. That is...
I knew it!
Classic 8-year-old behavior. There are times where you will bang your head against the wall saying, "Why did you do that?" And they'll just say, "I don't know." And it goes on every single day. So Bobby is an 8-year-old child, and he's kind of a little bit like my 8-year-old child.
Is he supposed to be
genius?
Who I love. Well, yes, in the context of this episode, he's a genius. But I'm talking about in the larger context of all of Bobby's world. Bobby does a lot of 8-year-old dum-dum things, and uses his small brain, as we say.
I thought he was supposed to be younger.
Yeah, I thought this was like preschool. I thought he was like 4. No, that'd be 4.
A 4-year-old.
4 is preschool. 5 is kindergarten.
So he's a 4-year-old boy, but then he also is 5 and then 6. Okay, you're right. So I'm thinking of...
This show did run for 7 years, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're right.
They aged him a year every 2 seasons.
Well, okay, so let me put this into context. An 8-year-old boy does a lot of the same things that a 4-year-old Bobby does. So I don't know, maybe my child's on the spectrum. Who knows? Maybe all children are on the
way
spectrum.
they depict his school, that's not what preschool is like. You don't sit at he's clearly the model for his classroom is clearly like fourth or 5th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these shows that you get through the lens of an adult is that the context of the classrooms and the children say things that really would be an adult type thing.
Well, it's because they're going back to the part of school they actually remember, you know?
Yeah, it's written by adults, so, you know, you're going to have this far-off memory kind of recollection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so David, what's our next segment? I think that wraps up the...
Well, I think the next one is, would you let your children watch this? Our two papas. I guess the real question would be, Mike, do you think that this is like a mandatory childhood watching material in order to have like a well-rounded child come out of...
Well, he's more of an ovoid. So
An ovoid, there we go.
Yeah,
a well-ovoided
child.
Yeah.
I think that the morals and lessons at the end of the story would give me enough reason to allow the children to watch this.
Just to allow them to watch it. Okay.
I mean, I would want them to watch this because I felt like I grew from watching it. And I don't know which direction I grew, you know, but...
I was going to say the same thing, but sarcastically.
Yeah, you know, grow like a fungus.
No, I was going to say it's just such an important lesson.
It was just such an important lesson. But, you know, I don't have a problem with it because I remember it fondly. So if my kids watched it, I don't know if they would get some of the technological context of the show. It'd be fun to have that conversation about like things like that are in the show that don't exist anymore. But I don't know. It would please me if my children watched this. I'd leave it at that.
It would bring you pleasure. You will please the universe of Mike.
You will please the dad if you say,
please the
Father, I've watched Bobby's World, and it was splendid.
Might we watch the Bobby's World?
Excellent. Feel my pleasure, child.
It was splendid. And this Howie Mandel figure, he's hilarious.
He's the height of...
Father.
Papa, he's the height of comedy, Papa.
Anyways.
Your tastes are justified, Papa.
So, Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if my child watched this. And the only issue I have with it is there are no people of color at all.
Oh, yeah. Nowhere.
No. It is all white people.
Oh, yeah.
Very monochromatic.
Where was this produced? United States and Canada.
Oh, Howie did it all out of his house.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's Canada, that kind of gives them, like, a little bit of a pass. Aren't they a very homogenous society up there?
No, they have trees.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
and bears.
Yeah.
Bears,
trees,
lots of
bears. There's plenty of native folks there, too, that the Canadians have horribly subjected to Western education and trying to, like, pull kids from reservations and such.
But you will notice that they're still there. So I think they're doing better than the U.S. did.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. Well, but however, those schools where they are trying to like remove the native culture from the students were still in existence up until 1997.
Yeah.
So
there's buried school children at a lot of those schools where bad things happened and they just buried them.
Yeah, most of Canada is just buried school children.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Most of it. A lot of it's covered by glaciers, though. So
yeah.
Guys, North Montana.
Well,
David,
we taught those Canadians.
Yes.
In your face, eh?
What do you do for this part of the segment? Would you let your wife
listen to us be idiots?
What?
Listen to us be idiots.
Oh.
Yeah, this seems fine for children.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear.
Sure.
David's seal of approval.
All right. Do we want to keep it on the list? Does this survive?
Good question. I don't think it's particularly bad. I don't know if we get the comedy feels out of it, but I don't think it's bad.
Would you guys like me to present another episode? Let's do it that way.
You specifically?
Yeah, like if we do another Bobby's World, what if if we leave it on here? Did I do a good job? Would we?
Yes, you did a wonderful job.
You did an amazing job.
This isn't about
me.
you.
Am I
Fantastic.
gifted?
Evaluate me, Papa.
Am I a genius?
You know what? You know what, Mike? I think that you did such a great job that we need to have a third spin-off series where it's just Mike presenting Bobby's World while we remain silent throughout the entire thing.
In Bobby's voice too.
Yeah.
There we go.
You're going to eat so much cake.
That's right.
I'm gonna eat so much cake.
See? Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's your thing, Mike.
Isolate that, David.
I can see what my blackmail tape is going to be.
I like it. Well, I don't. Well, who cares what you don't like? I care.
Here's what I'm going to say. I don't think any of us are very interested in it. It's not bad, but it's not very good. So there isn't a lot to make fun of here, except for Howie Mandel. And, there's only so much Mandel to go around. So
that's fair.
I'm going to vote no. I'm going to vote that we don't need to continue this. Not that it was bad. It's just it's not right for us.
I am with you, Matt.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, I guess I'll follow the crowd. I'll go with you, Matt, as well.
One of us.
But I'm I feel like I think that you voiced it up perfectly. Never mind.
Yeah.
You're right, Matt.
We could do
So
episodes. but
screw you, Mike.
They wouldn't
screw
be good
you.
episodes.
We're not watching it.
Well, there will always be something else.
Yeah,
There
was
were
it
many,
about-
many Bobby's World in the 90s.
Let's get something much worse and weirder,
There we go. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you guys decide to keep Spawn?
Oh man, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I think we did. I think we did the stupid shitty thing where we're like, this was so bad we have to watch it again to find the good episode.
I think I voted no because he's a rapist.
And Derek and I voted yes because he's a rapist.
An insurmountable pile of wonderful awfulness.
Hey Mike, this is a secret tip to start thinking about your redemption.
Oh, I already know.
Oh,
Ooh, perfect.
whoa.
All right.
Yes.
So wait, did we decide to keep this or not?
No.
No,
No?
we didn't.
Okay. All right, so we're not keeping it. Screw you, Bobby. Screw you, Mike.
No, Mike did a great job.
Yeah, what did I do?
Great job, Mike. Screw you. Great job.
Great job screwing us, Mike.
Yes, great job screwing. Screwing, great job. We covered
Great
this.
screwing job, Michael.
All right, so what do I do? How does this redemption thing work, gentlemen? Tell me how this thing works.
Next is redemptions.
Redemption.
So,
Yeah.
David, ask Mike the question.
Mike, what change do you want to make to the list?
I would like to add Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my
What?
God.
Is that even an option?
Ugh.
Do we have Dragon Ball Z on here?
Now, are you sure you mean Dragon Ball Z and not Dragon Ball?
Well, which one was in the 90s? Because I remember Dragon Ball Z was at the very tail end, 1998. Dragon
all
Ball
in it.
would be sooner, so I will let us pick our poison. Do we want to do? We're already assuming that I'm adding Dragon Ball something on the list. So, do we want to do Dragon Ball or Dragon
don't-
Ball Z?
I don't want the kind of audience it would attract,
Oh,
don't-
you're keeping our podcast?
You know.
Weeb motherfuckers hanging onto their printed pillows. It's disgusting.
You are
Waifu. They're called
keeping
waifu
our
pillows.
podcast. I don't think we need to be picky with who listens to our podcast.
they're
Matt.
they're a kind of human trash, and I won't have them about.
And what's funny is, like, we're that kind of human trash.
Shut up.
So,
Adam, how dare you destroy his argument?
I would vote for Dragon Ball over Dragon Ball Z personally.
I've never
Just
seen
'cause-
Dragon Ball.
I've actually
'cause
never seen Dragon Ball other than like little mini clips. So
Oh really? Oh.
it would be fun to go on this journey with you all together into total otaku weebness. I will ride you all down with me. It'll be glorious.
We're gonna get some weeboo beef.
God.
Yes. Weeboo beef.
Weeboo beef.
Indeed.
It's made out of weebs.
You know what goes great with Weeboo beef? Blue Mountain Bean.
Oh, say Weeboo Beef Blue Mountain Bean 10 times fast.
Weeboo beef Blue Mountain Bean.
Our new flavor. That's right. We've made coffee flavored beef. No, beef flavored coffee.
No, I like coffee flavored beef because that really does. That's like exactly what John Wayne would have wanted. So
I think we should do both. We should release it as a set. You could have beef flavored coffee with your coffee flavored beef.
Can you tell which is which? Well, we've actually blended the beef.
You take both of them and put them in a blender, and you drink it, and your head explodes.
They're both fluids. Which one's which?
no, even better. The beef has been blended into like a tube, like a gel that's in a tube.
No, a frappuccino.
The coffee has been dried out into like a steak patty.
Yeah,
No.
that's take that molecular gastronomy. Boom,
Steak frappuccino.
owned. We should bring in the steak in the form of a balloon that's already inflated, and you have to pop it and suck the meat air out of it.
Oh,
All right,
God.
guys, I've decided. Next RPGcation, I'm going to freeze dry and dehydrate some meat into a powder and put it into our coffee filter, like into the coffee, and I'm going to brew beef flavored coffee. Y'all are going to drink it.
And you're
Well,
gonna
bye.
force, yeah. Oh God. All right, so David, was that a legal move on Mike's part to
Dragon
add
Ball?
Dragon Ball? Yeah.
I will add Dragon Ball.
Yeah, get Mike's balls on there.
Yeah.
I
Just to
didn't
have
even think
Matt
it was on a
remove
wait
it next
list.
redemption, but whatever.
I'm itching to destroy it.
I know.
Well, we could add whatever we want to the wait list, so.
All right, that's fair.
It's not even on the list. It's going on the wait list, which means it's absolutely nowhere.
Oh, do we have to use a redemption to add things to the wait list?
No.
Oh.
We can add it to the wait list.
I mean, other than that, I can't think of what, like... I was kind of putting all my chips into Dragon Ball. When I was when I was going through the summary and thinking about how, like, Bobby was literally me, and then I was like, people think like Goku's like them, and I was like, oh, Goku, we need to watch Dragon Ball. So that's how I got it added to the redemption when I was doing the
I
summary.
have never understood that. Like, how can you identify with a character? It's like people who are like,
like a
yeah,
god.
I'm exactly like Superman. Really? That's who you are?
That's like why we riff on those kind of people, because it's always something crazy and illogical, but to you it makes like total sense because you're seeing it through your eyes of like the parts that are. So I
mean,
respect.
that's the reason why I always go around telling people I'm just like Betty Boop. So
So you like throwing
Just
people
because
off,
you're in
huh?
black and white.
yeah. And whenever I walk into a bar, Man Wolf whistle at me.
Yeah. And everything is syncopated. Everything.
Everything.
Syncopated.
Syncopated.
That's such a cool word.
Yeah.
Syncopated multipass.
It starts.
Okay,
It starts off like a cool holiday that you can drink at, and then it ends in pated.
Exactly. Syncopated. Dallas Corbin syncopated.
Syncopated.
David, please.
Well, let's try to get Matt out of here on time. Okay. So reverse retcon.
We want cartoons 26 hours a day.
Reverse retcon. Everyone's favorite segment.
We got a high number.
Oh no.
Oh, we gotta
Tell me
rewatch
what-
another movie?
What is 3194?
3194. Ooh. Gotta scroll up from where I was. 3194, I think, is the movie list, actually. Because we run up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Movie list.
So,
God damn it.
Movie list!
Movie sign!
Movie sign! Movie sign. Ooh, it's like Worm sign. Let's hope we actually get to watch the 6-hour version of Dune.
Oh, man.
Ooh. With Sting in it. Oh, we do have that in here, actually. Yes!
No.
So what did we land on?
We're on the movie list.
We have movie sides. We're on the movie list.
And how do we just roll the row
Oh,
number?
Flight of the Navigator.
Yep.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I
just
hope
Yeah,
it
it's a
doesn't
straight
ruin
roll. So, what is row 81?
Masters of the Universe.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be a good one.
You know, I've never seen it all the way through.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I keep thinking, how do we get these rolls? But I think Adam had it right. It's just everything on the list is great.
Yes, exactly.
We have bangers.
Yeah, it's really great.
Oh, this is amazing, Matt. So we get to actually watch the
live action.
The live action with Dolph Lundgren and Cox. What's her name? Christina Cox?
I don't know.
Courtney Cox?
Courtney Cox, yeah. Courtney Cox.
You know, I really think of Courtney Cox as a friend, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty harsh.
All right, David, who is going to be summarizing Masters of the Universe?
I think we're going to have to throw this back to Mike.
Oh, Mike!
What?
Mike!
Oh, I don't know if I'm up to handle this.
You're going to be summarizing Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
That's
man.
right, baby.
Oh, I have to talk for 2 hours of material?
Yeah, just hit the big points. Just hit the broad strokes. You can do it.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to our Labyrinth
It's all
podcast.
Derek's fault because it came up Derek like 8 times before it came up you. But he's not here, so he can't do it.
Nice.
I can handle it.
Yeah, you can handle it. You can do it.
I
Yeah,
can
go
do
back and listen to that one, and then also listen to the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure once we release that one.
Yeah.
Because we have done 2 movies now.
That's
Oh,
true.
oh shit! Oh, I didn't realize that the main like human Earth male protagonist that was, I think, Courtney Cox's boyfriend is the same actor that plays Paris in Voyager. Nice.
Has been a while since we've seen this.
It has been. It's been a very long time since I've seen this movie. But I bet you it's going to be nothing but bangers. Like, the entire thing is just going to be wall-to-wall. Amazing.
I've never seen it.
You haven't seen Masters of the Universe? Oh,
No.
you're gonna love it. Oh,
No.
you know what? Believe the hype. Believe the hype.
I don't know. I just never. I mean, I could have at any time, I suppose. I just never was interested in it. Even though I should be completely into it.
You should be.
I should be.
Honestly, like everything about it. You have the past space wizards from a different universe crossing over into our world.
Nice.
Killing Courtney Cox's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then, like, just picking her up and running around with her for no reason.
Courtney Cox, I love you. You're so hot on that show.
And then the ultimate bad guy just sort of, like, shows up. And like I was telling the other guys while you were away, you have to watch it, and you have to keep in mind that Skeletor is in love with He-Man. It's actually like an unrequited love story between Skeletor and He-Man, and it'll make a lot more sense to you.
I mean, I think that's the cartoon as well.
Probably. So Mike is going to be our Sumerian for Masters of the Universe.
Oh, Mike got it?
It's going to be amazing.
That poor son of a bitch.
I know, right?
Yeah, you just got to go big picture and just be like Dolph Lundgren, etc.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do like Adam and just summarize the entire movie in one sentence, and then we'll just talk and bullshit the rest of the time.
That's more of a Derek move. So,
There you go.
What I think is hilarious is that David's role kept on trying to force Derek into that position, And so far, Derek has been the only one to do movies when we pull them up. When we pull them up organically. Because he did Labyrinth, he did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, he covered for me.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was Derek, Mike, Adam, Derek.
I do like the idea of us just like putting this on Derek and forcing him to do it anyway, even though he wasn't here for it.
Oh, I was just looking through the movies list and I saw we had Dungeons and Dragons on there, and I was like, it better be the old one. And then I looked, and it was 1999. I'm like, thank God.
Yes, yeah.
Thank God.
Except I'm pretty sure that one of Derek's redemptions was to remove. Yeah, he removed the Dungeons and Dragons movie when he did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That son of a bitch! I didn't. I shouldn't have let him do that for me. He betrayed us.
He betrayed you.
He did.
Yes, it's okay. You can vote it back on.
I'm just gonna bump Fern Gully.
I love Fern Gully.
I like it. All right. So on a future episode of Amazingly Terrible, we'll be watching 1987's Masters of the Universe. But next time on Amazingly Terrible, we'll be watching Son of the White Mare. And I don't know what year it's from. What year is that?
1981.
1981. We'll be watching 1981 Son of the White Mare. In Polish, apparently.
There's
Hungarian.
subtitles. Hungarian. There's
In
subtitles.
Hungarian.
And I've just been watching it, and I think we're in for a real treat.
Yeah?
Every time you say that, a chill goes down my spine.
Well, especially considering Matt was the one that chose this one. So
Yeah.
This is Matt's special redemption.
His Magnus Opus. Magnum Opus.
Okay, yeah, so far we've had special redemptions for, we did Stripperella for Mike. Which was, we kind of forced it on him. But
Yeah.
Jack and the Beanstalk for David, the Christmas toy for me, The Legend of Prince Valiant for Derek, and now we're doing Son of the White Mare for Matt. Does that mean 84 is going to be Mike's choice?
Mike, if you can think of something. Maybe
What do
watching
you-
Son of the White Mare will make you think of something that you want to force Matt to watch.
Okay. Yeah. Let me punt till next week, and we'll decide. Let me marinate it.
2018's Dark Crystal series.
Oh, no.
Dark Crystal
See?
Age of Resistance?
You guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna pick something like out of left field that you guys would never even think of, because
What? No. I'd never expect that.
no, it'll probably be something totally predictable.
That's okay.
He's gonna have us watch Homestar Runner.
Homestar.
Oh, my God.
We'll just we'll condense them all into one episode.
I would watch that. That would be fun.
All right, David. What is Mike's next segment?
Well, I think we should sign off, and then I'll tell you how I pulled a Matt.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
All right.
All right. So for Amazingly Terrible, I have been Uncle Adam.
Oh, no.
I've been David.
I'm kissing Cousin Matt.
And I've been Mike.
Yikes.
Good
And together
night,
we have
everyone.
been Amazingly Terrible.
Ooh, I like that idea. I could just sign off like that all the time.
And by our powers combined,
Yeah.
we're leaving.
Amazingly Terrible is produced by David and Adam. Music by Josh Woodward. Send your email to monotonouslyterrific@amazinglyterrible.com.
This is great, though. We get to talk about how great our lost episode was.
There we go.
Do you remember the episode where we were actually funny?
That was the one. That was
Oh,
the one
man.
before.
What a banger.
Yeah.
That was the episode that was the only time you'll ever hear, other than just now, testicular jaundice.